One of the great things about my work is that I get to work with some amazing people and some amazing groups. And one of the things I've noticed, and something that's really was kind of the reason I wrote trU Tips this month, is really in and around this idea of how can we bring all these wonderfully talented people together and form a great team. And in the title I'll talk about There is no I in team, why that might be a great slogan, but why it's also wrong. And it's really based on the observation experience I've had with great people coming together. And you know what? It's hard to form a team. If you're an entrepreneur bringing a bunch of really strong personalities together, it's difficult to make them work together. If you're if you have a successful sales organization, but you want to start creating teams with some of these salespeople, especially like in the financial services area, that's tough. It's tough because these people have largely built success based on a lot of their individual skills. And to come together is difficult. So I'm not going to talk everything about trU Tips. You can go on my website at www.thetrugroup.com and you can get the trU Tips. But what I really like to focus on today is really about that part where I said we need to, the key to building a team is to get everyone into a room and to share certain things and to begin processing information and goals together. So let's take a deeper dive into that right now. What we need to know about ourselves and all the individuals on our team. The first thing is strengths and weaknesses. Now, strengths are really the things that you're very, very good at. It might be seeing things strategically, where you can be in a situation and have a problem and you can see the steps it's going to take to fix that problem. It might be remembering details or seeing the details and understanding what's right and what's wrong. It might be making people extremely comfortable in your presence from the get-go. Those are all wonderful strengths. And if you're not sure about, from a strengths perspective, a great tool for that is from the Gallup organization called StrengthsFinder 2.0. On Amazon it's $13. And it really gives you a sense of what some of those strengths are. On the flip side of strengths is weaknesses. And I'm not talking about the weaknesses when you're in an interview and someone says, what are your weaknesses? And you say something like, well, sometimes I care too much. I'm too passionate about my ideas. That's baloney. I'm talking about things that get in the way of you performing. I'm talking about things that potentially are going to cause people not to trust you. It might be inability to follow through. It could be the fact that you're so driven towards task that oftentimes you walk through people and you don't ask their opinion. You go around them and you ask for forgiveness later. I mean, those are all weaknesses. So how do you bring that kind of stuff up? Wants or needs from the team. So Ken Blanchard had a great definition for leadership that I love to use, and it is leadership is working with people to accomplish their goals and the goals of the organization. One of my really main reasons for saying there's no I in team and why that's wrong is oftentimes we forget to allow individuals to say, hey, here's what I want and need from joining this team. And you take a group of salespeople coming together. They might be joining that team because they want, when they take vacations, they want backup. They might be joining that team because they've built a client base, but they look at it, they realize, there's a lot more opportunities out there, but I'm having a hard time doing that all myself. They might be joining the team and telling the group that, look, I really want to work with you, but Mondays and Fridays, I just need time alone. I need time to process, I need time to talk to clients. And that might be a very fair request, but people need to share their wants and the needs so that everyone on the team can look at each other and say, hey, can we work together? It's great to get everyone in a room and talk about what are their individual goals and what do they see as maybe some of the group goals. Are there individual goals? Is there a particular sales number they have for themselves? Maybe it's the fact that they've been around and they want some time off and their goal is to take 3 or 4 weeks of vacation a year. I don't know what they might be, but the fact of the matter is the whole team needs to understand that and see if the individual goals that this individual has really are congruent or can be accommodated within the scope of the group goals. Maybe it's the group goal to extend a service line within a group, to offer many more things than any one individual can do because you have 3 or 4 experts there that can take care of different things. Again, financial services would be a great example of that. So those are things you need to know. And again, think about this concept, is the fact that, look, before we all get together, let's sit down and get to know each other and make sure that we understand where we're all coming from. Because one of the number one things that's going to make a team explode is their inability to trust each other. And if you're unable to get in a room from the get-go and explain some of these things about yourself that no one would understand without you telling them, if you're unable to do that, it's probably not going to be a great team experience. And that's really what drove this trU Tips this month, is the fact that I firmly believe that people have to have the ability to exist as individuals within a group. And that some of these purposeful conversations have to happen from the beginning, so that it's not something you find out later or something you find out in the midst of conflict. Because by then, oftentimes, it's too late to salvage a relationship, maybe even the whole team. And finally, for you leaders who are trying to bring these teams together, I recognize that the barriers are very real. Time is a big barrier. Again, maybe time for you as a leader to sit down and really get to know these people. And I recognize that that's a big issue, but I also recognize that without doing that effectively from the beginning, there are going to be many, many more problems later. So that's a supplement to trU Tips number 9. Again, if you want to read the whole thing, it's on my website, thetrugroup.com. And thank you very much.